Welcome back, everyone. This is the Game One Loves Forever, the golf podcast. Once again, Bryan came back to join us again for another week. He loved it so much. He's like, "I want to come back."
Exactly.
Yeah. Or I begged and pleaded to have him come back. Now,
A couple times. Here we go.
yeah.
Thanks for having me
So
again. Appreciate it.
yeah, I appreciate you coming out and talking golf again. So this time, I kind of we got to know you a little bit last time. Now, I just want to pick your brain about golf.
Let's talk.
So just random topics, that we kind of thought of and be fun to talk about. So getting right into it, because I just did one not too long ago, a Scramble tournament.
Oh,
I mean, it's a huge topic.
can go either way.
You see those, yeah, you see those guys coming in with 47s or
Even lower than
crazy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm probably shot high there.
Yeah.
Probably still wouldn't win with a 47, right?
Yeah.
So when I say Scramble tournaments, what's your first thought?
Are they scoring correctly?
Yeah,
First thought.
yeah,
Who's keeping the score in that foursome? And then
that's true. I never thought about that. There may be oh, we got a par, and then the guy really writes on a birdie.
yeah, yeah.
That's true. I never even.
So it's like, how often do these people play? Is it industry? Is it like for the industry that you are part of that maybe they aren't as much of a golfer or something,
Yep.
or is it someone that plays a lot,
Yeah.
and then they are doing it to the T?
Yeah.
It's very it's interesting. To think about.
Yeah.
The other thing that comes to mind is the teams. Like, do we got sandbaggers coming out here?
Oh yeah.
It's like,
I mean, there's definitely, I'm probably, a lot of people invite me to come out, but, I've seen a team where I know all those guys shoot or could shoot in the 70s, right?
yeah,
On their own.
yeah.
So, or maybe low 80s
Yeah.
on their own.
And
So,
then you're giving them mulligans.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
giving them
Yeah,
string.
you purchase mulligans.
Yeah.
I remember one of the tournaments that you put on or that you helped with. I mean, what were all the gimmicks that you had? I mean, you had so
So
many.
we had string. You could buy string. It was 15 feet, I want to say, of string. That's a good amount of string. And then it was unlimited mulligans. You could
Yeah,
as
that's-
much money as you wanted to spend, or
So
it was for a
basically-
nonprofit charity. So it was spend as
That's
much
true.
spend as much money as you can. The
Yeah.
whole point behind it was for the charity.
Yep.
But at the same time,
That
it's
makes
like,
sense.
do you got to put a limit on that? Like we're talking about that,
Yeah.
right? It's like I could get like, okay, don't put a limit on it because we got golfers out there that don't normally golf. It's like,
Yeah.
cool, growing the game. But then you get also on the other side, you got 470 something shooters.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, maybe we need to cap them at like 8 mulligans.
Yeah,
or
because
something.
essentially, I mean, you're like, yeah, I used eight mulligan. Let's say even if they're $10 a mulligan,
Yeah.
people spend 100 or not 100. They'll buy 100,
Yeah,
100
totally.
mulligans.
Yeah.
And they're like, no
Usually
problem.
when I come to a
Like
tournament, like,
$1,000, no problem.
usually when I go to a tournament like that, I'm like, I'm spending a couple hundred today because I know it's for a good, right?
Yeah.
It's for a
Good cause,
charity,
yeah.
good cause.
Yeah.
We're out here to have fun, like let's raise some money for it.
Yeah,
But at the same time, like I had that mindset coming in and I'm a golfer.
Yeah.
So imagine the people that aren't really into golfing
Yeah.
that are just coming out to support the charity or
yeah.
something.
Just coming on to play, and they're like,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's, I guess, now you kind of make me feel bad because I guess that's true. Because I mean, we're golfers, we're competitive, but also it's for charity. So I got to remember that too.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
whenever I go out,
But not
I'm
all
like,
of them.
initially,
Yeah.
true, that's true.
Not all
But
of them
most
are
of the
for
ones we
charities.
play in, just because of our industry, yeah,
Usually it's charity.
it's because of
Or some kind of backing to foundation.
true, yep, or just because I do think that gets people out.
Yeah.
Right? When you have a cause or a purpose. I mean, I do like the ones where it's like, oh, this is strictly to play golf.
Yeah.
Right? I've been in one of those before with no mulligans.
Yeah.
You guys just play straight up.
Yeah, let's see who scores the lowest.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And I do like
I
those
don't
because
know if I've played in one of those.
yeah,
I would love to do that.
I do like those because you do like the winner comes in and it's like 9 under. And like that's a legit
Yeah.
no mulligan score.
Yeah.
So I always know if you get on a string of birdies where you're like 5 under after 10 or something, you're like, okay, you're in the hunt.
Yeah.
Right. So going back to the the string.
Mm-hmm.
So you said 15 feet.
Yeah.
Now, what I didn't understand, or maybe I didn't remember. So if you, let's say you hit a shot from the fairway and you're within that 15 feet, does that mean now you just shot a two,
That's so
or does that mean you automatic three?
that's an automatic three. That's
Got
technically
it.
how I would do it.
Okay.
So a lot of
But
people don't do it this way.
yeah.
One, you're supposed to trim it. No one really has scissors out there. Let's be real.
Oh.
So like if
So
I have a
okay.
15, so if I have, let's say I chip it and I'm within 2 feet,
Yes.
and I go, okay, I want to birdie that. I don't want to make that putt because it's like on a hill or something. And I go, okay, and you're supposed to trim that. No one does. No one does that.
Yeah, no.
No.
It's probably like every hole, like
Yeah.
15, 15.
Someone's gonna bring out a lighter and be
Yeah.
like, well, don't go too far. Just do a foot. You know.
Okay, so you have 15 feet of free putts,
Correct.
basically.
That's exactly what it's supposed
Got
to be meant
it.
for.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's a
But
good.
but misinterpretation.
Yeah.
People use it wrong. You know, they're like, wait, I can use it for, and then what's the drawing a blank on the name of it, but it's not necessarily a mulligan, but maybe it is a mulligan where you can take a mulligan on the putting, and so is that mulligan for one putter, or is that mulligan
the whole
for the
group?
whole group?
Yeah.
Tell me that. Like that's another thing. Is then and then let's say I put it, you know, right there, and it's like, do I use a string on top of that? Are you allowed to like quasi?
Yeah,
You know,
it's
it's
just
like
somebody.
it gets a little bit sticky.
And then you just like someone who's like a stickler. Then you just go back to, come on, it's for charity, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah, that's smart.
Or you say, hey, we got a birdie on that.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, I'm gonna write down a eagle.
Yeah,
It's
it
like-
should have been a two.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, or it should have been a three on a par five.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we even because I played with you in that tournament. Did we even use the rope, or did we
I don't think we'd use the
did we
string that day.
buy or
No,
the string?
I think we used all of our mulligans.
For sure, because I think you got one or two free, right? Or included, or maybe
Included
the
with
$50
you, and then you
or
can.
whatever.
I think I bought a couple.
Yeah. So yeah, we didn't use the rope or the string.
No, I don't. I feel like it's
Did
a
we
lo-
just forget, or
Yeah,
we
I
were
think
just
that's
kind of out
what
there?
I think that's, and I don't know if
And-
we really had many issues. I feel like we kept making stuff,
Yeah.
like making putts
Well-
or chipping good.
Yeah, I remember I wasn't driving well at all that day.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's what usually happens is like I'm always gung ho for scrambles, and then I get out there and I'm just like I'm lost.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad. I'm glad I'm not playing my own ball. Right.
yeah, right.
Which brings me to my next point. Or okay, so you said string, mulligans. What else was there? Is that it?
I think that was it.
But you,
And then you have specialty holds like on closest to the pins.
oh yeah.
You can do like
No, oh no.
sometimes
You
they have
had
the
a
launchers.
Automatic putt.
Automatic putt. Oh, it was one of the
Yeah, voucher. You had one
Yeah.
automatic or two automatic putts.
So you can be just inside
as
of the
long as you're on the green.
yeah, just inside of the fringe
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And you can just be like, automatic.
Yeah.
Like 50, 80 footer.
Yeah. Well, we used that one, right?
I think we did.
Because we were on in two,
Yeah.
and it was like, humble brag here, but I put it on in two for us
Yeah.
on a par three, par five, par five.
Yeah.
And then I think we were 50 feet
It
or
was
something.
something
But
ridiculous.
we used
with
it
a
and we're like
ridge.
eagle. Yeah.
With a ridge or something too.
Like a double breaker.
And what did we come in that? We came in low 50s, did we not? And that was a true low 50s.
Don't.
I want to say it was something low, and then the winner was like a 46 or 47.
No, it was something ridiculous.
Yeah, it was like, no way
no.
in heck did you guys shoot that.
It was like 42. It was like it was something crazy. I know that's 30 under, but
Yeah.
it was something like
It
that.
was out of
where
control.
Everything was a birdie.
Everyone was
and
talking about it. How about that?
It was like it was like a 2 on a par 5. I mean, it was like pretty much memeable.
Yeah.
Like
It was they did not score correctly.
no,
It was
and I think
obvious.
yeah, and I think they probably used, like you said, the string. They probably used a bunch of mulligans, or they used a mulligan, and it was like their whole team won again.
Yeah.
Right. So do I feel that they shot that? Maybe, but I don't think they used the
Rules correctly.
the gimmicks correctly. Right.
Gimmicks correctly. Yeah.
Because I do like the gimmicks, but I already know that if I'm going out, I buy a few mulligans, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And, because there's even like, there's other gimmicks where you go out and it's like the launcher, the ball launcher,
That's crazy.
which is like,
Have you done
oh yeah.
that? Ugh.
It's pretty, I mean, it's fun.
I've put it on and won because of
But
that. That's
yeah, so that, or even sometimes not even one. If he's like, oh, if you're landing, if you stay on the green, you're putting one from there, so
yeah,
it's zero. You're laying
exactly.
zero,
Yeah. At
and I'm just
Cinnabar
like, yeah,
for a score tournament, another real estate tournament.
yeah,
But yeah, I definitely used that cannon and got it on and won. I was like, this is or a zero, but yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's fun. Don't get me wrong. I mean, um, but we have, at least in our group, we do it where you have a mulligan and you pick one person whoever like felt great, felt better on the shot,
yeah,
or maybe hit it right but just wasn't on a line. Like, okay, you hit another one.
yeah.
So I don't know if that's how. I mean, what is your ruling as far as the use of mulligans for scramble?
Uh, I love to hang on to them unless it's like a dire need to use it.
Yeah,
So
I
like
only usually use them for putting.
exactly,
But
because it's like I know we can make this, and it's like I'm gonna do a redo on that.
yeah,
And then usually even if I use it on that, it's like it's only for me.
yeah,
I don't think it should be for the whole group, but maybe I'm wrong on that. You tell me if I'm wrong on that.
yeah. I
Um,
honestly I don't know. It's a good point that you brought that up. I just always assumed one mulligan was for one shot.
that's what I thought.
Yeah,
You know, it's like to redo my own
yeah,
shot. You know, or you give it to someone else to use
yeah.
on their shot.
But now you gave me a great idea. For that string game, we could do, instead of a shamble, we do like a two-person scramble or two-person um, best ball where you still play your own ball,
Yeah.
but then between the team members you can decide like, hey, should I use the rope here to to automatic putt?
Oh yeah.
A little nice little gambling game, right?
But then again, it's like how do you trim the
Well, then,
string?
because then So I would make sure like everyone has scissors,
Yeah.
or I don't know.
A
Yeah,
lighter or
yeah,
something. A divot remover with little clippers on the back.
yeah, yeah, yeah. A Swiss Army knife to
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I need those back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that'd be a fun. I think that'd be a fun game with two, and I think I always like the two-person scrambles too, because it just kind of then you also see true scores, right? If there's no mulligans and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing is I don't like scrambles because I feel like it messes up your game.
Messes up your game. It messes
Yeah.
up the course.
What? Hold on, we'll come back to that. I'm talking about me right now, okay? I don't care about.
Oh, it messes up your
yeah. No, messes with my game. Like, so when I go out and play next time, I'm like chunking it and like just swinging away with my driver.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, yeah. So
It makes you definitely free a little bit more or swing a little bit more open.
yeah, but can also be a detriment.
That's
Right.
what I'm.
Yeah,
That's
okay,
more
yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
it gets your swing out of whack.
Yeah.
So more
Because there's
loosey.
no consequence.
Correct.
Right? There's
So
no
like
true
you
consequence.
said, like there's four of us. One guy puts it in the middle of the fairway. You're like, I'm gripping it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going for it.
Yeah.
And one.
Yeah.
It's like we know you're never gonna do that.
Yeah.
And there it goes. And
That's why
that's a duck hook.
I like, even though I'm usually like the best driver on my team, I like to go first anyway, because I feel like that, like once I see how they do,
Yeah.
it like
gonna adjust.
makes me adjust one way or another. Where it's either like, okay, just put this in the fairway, or okay, you can swing away, which now I don't do that anymore because like you said, like I start swinging away and then either I usually hit a slice now if it's a miss hit. So now that slice just gets stronger throughout the ground, right?
Yeah.
By the end of the day. Or if I need to hit it straight, then I calm down. But swinging away, getting loose, it's usually a nice little slice now.
Yeah, I love being the layup guy.
Yeah,
You know, like
I'll put it
Yeah.
like 250 out there.
I'll pull out a
270.
4-iron or pull out the
Oh, yeah,
hybrid
yeah.
or something and be like, oh, this doesn't mess with my swing. I'll put
Yeah.
it out there and you can bomb it over me or something. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah, you're like, I'll put it in play. You
I
do it.
also, to the counter of that, I love putting first though. So I feel like humble brag, I love reading putts and I feel like I do pretty good at it. Where I might not drain it, but I'm gonna be damn near it. You
Yeah.
know, every single time as long as I have the correct speed.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a pretty good lagger, I guess is the proper term for it.
Okay.
So I love putting first because then I feel like if there's a better, I don't think I'm the best putter, but I think like I'm a good lagger and I can give someone else a better read on
I
it.
see.
So it's like, okay, let me go first, and then like you're a better putter than me, you go second,
Yeah.
and or George goes second or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and you bring up an interesting point too. Like, I love how there's so many different strategies to scramble golf,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like, okay, you're really good at reading greens, but also, do you want to wait? You're a good putter,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're a good putter. Do you want to waste your putt essentially
Mm-hmm.
without actually knowing what it's going to do? But I also feel like sometimes when you like for instance, we'll like to let the ladies go first and
Mm-hmm.
they just whack it and I don't
It's,
read
you don't
anything.
get no read
Yeah,
from it. That's
it's
what I'm
like
saying. It's
yeah,
like sometimes like you got to bite the bullet and be like, okay,
yeah,
who's the most confident? It's like
and
I want to go first on putting
yes,
because I'm gonna give you a true read.
yeah,
The rest of the group, I feel like 90 something percent of the time,
yeah,
right? But like, and am I gonna make a few of those? Probably,
yeah.
but at least I'll be close enough where you got a good
Well,
read from it.
and if you do make it,
Yeah,
there you
then no one
go.
else has to
Yeah,
putt.
exactly. You take the
Usually
pressure
people
off.
still drop though. They're like,
Yeah,
hey man,
yeah,
I want to hit this
yeah,
putt.
yeah.
I saw that line.
Yeah, yeah. It's like that's where I told you how to.
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
Yeah, I used to be when I first started scrambles, and this is like when I'm younger. Um, was always worst to best.
Mm-hmm.
Anything driver,
Yep.
every shot, the worst person goes first, and then the best person goes last.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm kind of more of the just go, and then when you putt, the best putter goes last always.
Yep.
Yeah. And then the people in between kind of go because I do think they're like they can kind of see the speed, they can kind of
Mm-hmm.
see if it's downhill, whatever.
Well, and I also think like a guy or a gal that doesn't golf as much could still get into a good shot on a
Yeah.
tee box.
Oh yeah.
Like they can get into a bad shot, but if you let them go ahead on a tee box, it's like they might smoke a drive. And it's
Yeah.
like awesome shot, dude
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
girl.
Or
It's like
or I just thought about this right now. Like maybe like if because when I played the scramble a couple days ago, was hitting really good drives and I was first.
Mhm.
And maybe it took the pressure off because everyone else was kind of hitting good too. Maybe
Yeah,
not as far as me, but
yeah, yeah,
so maybe it gives them the freedom. Like,
totally.
okay, I can just swing away because JR's in the fairway.
Yeah.
So you reminded me about another gimmick where you have to choose one or two drives from every person.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, that's
Which
another thing. Yeah.
yeah, and I think that's a game changer because that's another strategy to it. It's like I try to use if that is the case.
Hmm.
Anytime someone has a good shot or even close,
Yeah, you use theirs.
take it
Yeah,
because you get to the last hole where you have to use someone's
yeah.
that
So I've played tournaments where you have to use, and this is for a two-person scramble. You got to use at least six drives of each person. So that's 12 holes,
dang
right? So that's 12 holes technically out of an 18-hole round. That means that gives you six to play with.
yeah
So that's pretty tough.
yeah.
And I've
So wait, how many drives of each person?
six.
But that's 24.
No, so six each. So that's 12 holes essentially out of 18 that you would have
Oh,
to.
out of two?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a foursome.
No, no, two-man scramble.
Okay, okay. Sorry, I missed that.
So and that makes it fun. It's challenging,
Yeah,
like you said. So like I might be not driving the ball at all good, and so I hit like a duff, like little dink, and the guy I'm playing with is like, "No, we're using that. You hit the fairway.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
we're
exactly.
using that. Even
Yeah.
though my drive went
Yeah.
beyond yours by like 50 yards,
Yep.
we're still using
Yeah,
yours.
it's playable, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's, I mean, I don't see it much anymore, but or at least the ones we play in.
Mm-hmm.
And but that was always the question when I first started playing scrambles. Like, we would take any drive, how many drives of each person,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And I think that helps make it legit too, because otherwise, then like every time there's using my drive,
On every hole.
on
Yeah.
you know,
At least all
minus,
the par fives
yeah,
and fours.
yeah, yeah.
You know?
For sure, not on the par threes because I'm not always dialed on that. But but lately, I mean, well, at least when I played, like I said, everything has been like kind of on driver, irons, wedges. I'm always kind of iffy, but
Mhm.
a lot of green and regulations, and I just can't putt. Or I'm even if I'm putting it 10 feet to the pin, just can't put them down.
So you mentioned,
So
I think last week or the previous podcast, you don't like to warm up.
Yeah.
before a round? Do you chip and putt before practice or rounds?
Uh, it depends when I'm rolling up, but I would say no. As if it's a new course, let's say I haven't played it. Let's
Hmm.
say we go to the Ridge or something. I haven't played in a while. I will putt.
I was gonna say
Worst case, I'll putt.
you want to use that practice green
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah. No, I'll putt. I'll make sure I putt, and then, but I don't. I usually don't need a warm up bucket. But something interesting to that is usually it takes me about 3 holes to warm up.
Hmm.
Um, but it doesn't matter if I warm up or not.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah, I would agree with the bucket. The bucket thing is depending on how much time I have,
yeah,
or if they include a free bucket.
yeah,
Then
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Like I'll take that, you
yeah.
know.
Oh, for sure.
But the chipping and putting is and stretching as I'm getting older.
Uh-huh.
Stretching's critical,
Mm,
and so like I gotta stretch and I gotta at least chip and putt a little bit
I see.
to warm it up. But I do not need a bucket per se.
Yeah. That I haven't gotten into stretching yet. The only, I mean, I don't know if you call it consider stretching, but um, you grab like 2 clubs or 3 clubs in your hand and kind of get the weight,
Yeah.
so you kind of get the movement. But that's probably the most,
I do that.
the
I
most kind of stretching I
try to
do.
loosen up the back a little
Yeah.
bit, loosen up the legs a little bit. Um, I forget the golfer, but he used to have an awesome knee stretch. I forget.
A knee stretch.
Yeah, he would like do a
What?
little knee sway,
Oh.
like a little dance,
Well, I
if you
can see
will.
it. Yeah, yeah. You're like, yeah. I know what you're
I was
talking
like, I'm
about.
not there
I've
yet.
seen it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not there yet. But I still will loosen up the back a little
yeah,
bit, and like you said, loosen up the shoulders with some maybe multiple clubs or
yeah,
something like that. But
yeah. I've never been. Well, I would say that I was really big on warming up, getting there early, hitting the range, just to kind of see where your swing is, right?
hmm,
And I guess that did help, but I would always say whatever I hit on the range, it was the opposite on the course.
yep, I
And so if I had a good
I'm
range
a believer
session,
to that.
yep. If I had a great range session, I'm like, oh, today's gonna be a great day. I'm gonna be dialed. No blading,
Yeah,
punching,
yep,
drivers all over the place.
divots
And
everywhere.
yeah, and I was like, I don't know if it just gave me a false sense of security.
Yeah,
And then I've had, warm ups where it's like I've never swung club in my life,
yeah,
and it's like
yeah.
chunking,
Now,
and then
would you put that on mats? Are you an anti mat guy?
I I am.
I'm an anti mat guy
I
myself.
am
Now,
because
do I use mats? I still do use
for
mats.
sure, yeah. I
Just
mean, get the swing in. Yeah, I'm not opposed to mats. If I know most every course around here uses mats. I think the only place you're not going to get mats is maybe country clubs.
or even what is it? Lincoln Hills has no mats. Or they on weekends they use mats, but during the
Yeah, it was like when
weekdays they do
we played on
the
a
grass.
Friday and they had mats.
But then you can get some brand new mats, and it's like, well, there's not much difference there. But I'm still anti mat guy.
Yeah.
If I have the ability to, and that's one
So
reason. Going back to the last episode, pin high, they used to have majority all grass. So I was
really,
as I was learning how to play golf, I was
and
learning off grass.
oh, and I bet you that brought you along so much quicker.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Because a mat
Um.
is so um, forgiving.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
you can hit a shot thinking you smoked the
Yep.
ball, and it's a true fat shot on
Yep.
a grass course.
Yeah. Yeah, because you could hit a hole like let's just say like a card behind the ball on a mat,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll hit it pure.
Yep.
Where, like you said, and on the grass or actual like
Yep.
course, you're chunking that. It's going 10 feet
Mm-hmm.
or 10 yards,
Yep.
right? Yeah, definitely more forgiving. And I think that's why I don't like mats because I like to kind of when I'm playing really well, I'm striking the ball,
Mm-hmm.
and that's
Like a
like
downward
yeah,
strike.
I'm striking the ball, and it's like the divot is after
Yep.
the ball, and I know that's or like where the ball was,
Yep.
and I know that's when I'm striking really well.
Yep.
And if I start to go to mats with that same swing,
Yep.
then I'm just like,
Bouncing.
yeah, oh well, and I'm just like the torque on my wrists are so hard, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like the face is closed, and I'm just striking down on it.
Yep.
And then if you take that to the course, you're either one, you're gonna break your wrist, or two, you're gonna be what do you call it, shanking everything to the right away.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I am definitely anti mat, and maybe that's why I'm anti warm up because I don't
You've had
feel
that too many times
yeah,
where
where
it's
I
like
don't
I don't need to do
feel
this
yeah,
anymore.
or I don't feel like it's a true warm up. So I'd rather
Yeah.
just take some dry hacks with some two clubs or even take like 10 dry hacks with a driver,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, so do you warm up? You said
It
I know
depends on the time I got, and then it
and
does depend.
and
If
and
they
time and value.
Yeah, exactly. Time and value. But no, if they have all grass warm up facility, then I most often will probably try to get there early enough so I can warm up.
Yeah.
And if they don't, then that's where it's like, how much time do I have? Okay, do I have enough time? Is it a free bag, bucket? You
Yeah.
know, like,
Is
okay,
included.
I'll go take
Yeah.
a couple of hacks
Yeah.
and I just won't use it or something,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
all of it.
That's true.
But then also on top of that, then it's like, okay, do I have a wet towel to clean my clubs? Because after you use mats, you're like, you got the
Oh yeah,
greens,
they got a
you
green.
got the
Yeah.
green stuff all
Yeah.
over the club heads, you know? So you're just like, wait a minute, now I got to re-clean all my clubs,
Yeah.
you know?
That's true. I think about that
And
part
that
too.
takes away from performance.
Yeah. I forgot about that because I don't hit mats anymore.
Yeah.
That it puts that green fiber on
Oh
your
yeah.
yeah.
Dude, it eats it
I
up.
totally forgot. And then you got to use these big rubber tees
Yeah.
that are never really the height that you use.
No.
So, yeah.
Yeah, never really hit driver off mats. It's more of a iron warm up and
Yeah.
let's go.
And then go and putt. It was funny one of the tournaments that I played in here at Empire Ranch, and it was last year, and I shot a 77, but my cart partner was already at the course,
Hmm.
and and my tee time was at I think 9:30 or something, or maybe 10:30, and I get there at 10 o'clock, and I think his name was Mitch too, and he just like he's like, have you been warming up? And I was like, oh no, I was like, I just got here. I'm gonna putt a little bit. He's like, oh man, you're really good, huh? I'm like, I mean, I wouldn't say that, but and then he's like, oh, because everyone I know who just comes out here doesn't warm up. He's like, they're really good, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm okay. And then I go out and shoot 77, and I had like an
Yeah.
eagle, four birdies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun day for sure. Um, but yeah, and then of course he's like, because I was in a higher flight too because
Yeah.
of my handicap, and he's like, "You're in the wrong flight." And I'm like, "Man, trust me, this is like once in a lifetime
I'm showcasing right
round."
now.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
Like,
trying to
yeah,
get sponsors.
yeah, yeah. But so that was when once I started, shot a couple times last year in the 70s, and then that's kind of what brought me to. And I know I keep saying this, but I want to shoot, the 70s 10
Yeah,
times, but
let's go.
you know, and here's a funny question. Do you think that shooting in the 70s at a par 70 or 71 is any less than shooting 70s and at a 72, par 72?
I've never been asked that question.
I just thought of it actually.
I would say no. And the reason for this is, in my opinion, those courses that are a 70 or 71 compared to a 72 are much different in the challengeability. I don't know if I put that proper. So the difficulties of the
Like
course,
the slope,
yeah, the
essentially, right?
slope, if you will, even if it could be elevation,
Yeah.
that's not part of slope. Like
Yeah.
I'm not talking about like elevation of a hole. I'm talking about like up at Tahoe compared to
Yeah, yeah,
Sacramento
yeah. Yeah.
elevation. It could be the challengingness of and I don't know this. Is the uh, bunkers and stuff like that, is that part of slope?
I think so, for sure.
If they put boulders in the middle of a
Yeah.
fairway, is that part of slope?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, I
Because
didn't
it's
know that.
difficulty, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's just like, if there's no bunkers, then this course is like exponentially easier,
Easier. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, I agree with you. I don't think it makes a difference because, for instance, the Ridge I think is 71,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a challenging course.
and yeah, and what's funny is I realized, and this is kind of what made me think about it, is yes, it's a par 71, but the yardage is the same as a par 72.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're playing like, I think we were playing blues that day,
Yeah.
and it was like 100 yards less overall. I think it was like 6,400. but par 71. So it felt, because I even asked my playing partner that day, I was like, man, this like, it feels a lot longer than 6,300 or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, because it was par 71.
Yeah.
So I'm sure because the yardage was almost the same to a par 72, but you had one less, one less, I don't know, what do you call it, stroke, par
Yeah.
stroke? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never,
Par. Yeah. One
yeah,
less.
one less par.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I've never thought about that.
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
call that?
Yeah. No, there's so
One
many.
less stroke to par. There you go.
Yeah, there's so many other difficulties to go into it where I think that's the reason they might
Yeah.
shave a stroke on that
Yeah.
course because they're like, oh man, it's pretty.
Yeah. Another thing too is if let's say I came to you and I was like, oh man, I shot a 79, got it. Would you ever think to ask what was the par or where'd you play from? Because I don't. I'm just like,
No, it's more
for
of
instance,
a
like guys like, oh man, I broke 90, awesome, dude.
yeah.
I didn't say, did you play from the Reds?
Yeah.
Or did you play from, or was it par 70?
Yeah.
Or par 69, whatever, right?
Yeah, it's more of like you're in the moment of like, oh, cool, dude, you
Yeah.
got a shot, a
Yeah.
good round. It's like I'm more happy for
You
that.
broke a
Yeah,
milestone,
you
right?
broke a
Yeah.
milestone, or like you had a good day. It's like
Yeah.
cool, dude. Like that's awesome. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I didn't know that you played in a scramble and shot a 70.
Yeah. Should have thought of this. Even Empire Ranch is 71.
Yeah,
So,
that is true.
dang, I should be breaking
Yeah,
breaking 80 way more often.
and for me, it's hard to get in like the mid 80s there. You know?
Yeah. I mean, there's some holes there that will eat you alive.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, so that's just, I wouldn't think anything less of where you're playing, like meaning tee boxes,
Mm-hmm. Yardage,
yardage,
slope.
yeah, and just, you shot a 79 on 71. Perfect.
Yeah. So let's go here. We're talking scores. What's your best round?
My best round is 74 at Diamond Oaks. It was a couple years ago. And I was even going into 18. And first shot out of bounds.
Oh boy.
So I'm hitting 3 out of tee. So 3, 4 was a little off. 5 was a chip on. And then 6 was a 1-putt. So, and it's par 4.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was like, dang.
Yeah.
And my buddy bet me $10 on that hole. And I shouldn't have bet. Yeah. I was like,
And that's probably why you shanked the first shot.
yeah, oh, it is for sure. Yeah. Because the money was on the line.
Yeah.
But yeah, I knew that was gonna be a good round. I didn't know it'd be my best, but I birdied the first hole, eagled the second hole. So after 2 holes,
Pretty good start.
Yeah. 3 under after 2 holes, and both of them were chip ins.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then actually I was playing with Bobby
Okay.
that day. And it was the first time I ever played with him. And he's like, dude, did you just bring us out here to brag? Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I swear, I
Yeah.
do not usually birdie eagle.
Yeah.
like to start.
Yeah.
But that was pretty funny.
That's funny.
So, what about you? What's your best score?
Best score, 78, and it
Okay.
was at Shoreline, down in Mountain View area.
Okay.
Nothing fancy about the course.
Yeah.
Just had a really good round. I was actually in a tournament,
Oh, nice.
part of the golf club
Yeah.
tournament,
So then it's legit.
and it's 100% legit.
Yeah.
It was scored. Had been on there, and I won a little money that day because of it.
I like when, and that's why I like too when I shot the 77 at the men's club, is because it's like it's legit. Those guys are making
they're on
sure
it. They are on you.
they're making sure you're not doing anything. You're hitting. I've even been in one of the men's clubs, and I think it was an away tournament, and I mean I'd blown up this hole, and I think I was an 11, and I had forgotten that, and it was legit. I mean I was already
You're
shooting
adding it up.
horrible, yeah.
You're like one
And
here, one
yes,
there.
exactly. So
You're like trying to backtrack.
yeah, and it was an 11.
How many duffs did
But
I
I said a
have?
10 because I forgot that I had 2 in the sand. So I thought, hit one in the sand, hit the next one, and it kind of like hit the lip and then
Yeah.
bounced back.
Yeah.
And I forgot about that one. So
Yeah.
I said, 10. And the guy's like, I think it was an 11. And he was like, how many, didn't you get out of the sand? I'm like, oh yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Like, my bad.
Thanks for
I was like,
reminding
my
me.
bad. I was like,
Yeah.
honestly, I was like, I'm not trying to. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna win
Yeah.
now. You know, I'm
I'm
a
100%
10
out
or
of
an
it.
11
Yeah.
is not gonna,
And a few the
save my
first couple
score.
tournaments you play too, they don't give you your full handicap either.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know, so
which I understand that
I
though.
totally get that.
Yeah.
But it's just like, wait, so if I don't get my full handicap and I have like an 8 or a 9 or
Yeah.
even a 10,
I'm
like
done.
I'm out.
Yeah. And then
There's
you're
no
just playing
chance.
for like deuces
Yeah,
or,
exactly. I'm playing for my moral.
yeah, yeah. Just finish.
Yeah, just trying to finish the round.
So do you ever play when you played in the men's club? Did you ever play like the deuces or the betting games
So
or skins?
I did a little bit. So I'm in for skins. There's a game called Wolf that is pretty fun to play, and I've done that one time. But the actual games of like outside of just gambling or betting on a hole or something like that, I haven't really played many. I haven't dabbled into it too deep.
Yeah.
And I'm open to it.
Yeah.
You know, as I feel like as I am getting a little bit older, like finding creative ways to have fun with your friends out there doing
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
It's not more so for gambling side of it. I think it's more for
Just
just
to
to
have
hey,
a
change it, right?
competition.
If
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
playing the same courses over and over, like okay, and then you're same group of guys, it's like how do we change it up to have more fun today?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, exactly. So it's not just you're coming out, you're
yeah,
playing.
same. You know, it's like instead of like looking forward to a beer on the
Yeah,
hole,
yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
wait, how do we like have a little bit more difficulty
Yeah,
on this part three? You know,
it just keeps you or not active, but keeps you in the game or keeps
yeah,
you interactive.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So you said Wolf. I've never actually learned how to play Wolf. Can you explain
Oh
it
man,
or
that's
kind
gonna
of?
be tough. So I
I
do,
know. It's
yeah.
like I know it's tough because that's why I haven't
Yeah.
played it
So
because I don't
from what I
kind of the gist of it, I
understand,
guess.
so I've only done it one time, and I could be butchering this, but I understand this is you pick a guy on. So let's say I'm the wolf on the first hole. So that means I'm watching the other three guys or gals tee off,
Okay.
and before the next person or tees off, I have to say that's who I want. Or so let's example.
What do you
So
mean? Like you're challenging them?
no, so you are picking
Like
them
when you
as a
said you
teammate.
want? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
So I want you as a teammate. So
okay.
essentially, let's say I go first, okay, and I pipe one down the middle, and you're like, can anyone do better than that? You have to say you want me as your partner on that hole before the next person tees off. Or you can literally make a decision to say, I want to go lone wolf. And then that's where it gets even more complicated. I can't remember that.
Dang.
But lone wolf means it's pretty much you versus the others.
Yeah.
And so you're going for lowest score on that
Hole.
between you and them
them,
on that
okay.
hole. Yeah. But usually it's a team thing. So usually it's like what you're
And then if
trying
you
to
go lone wolf, you get like double points, right, or
yeah, something like
something. Yeah,
exactly.
it's like
But for the wolf, you're really just saying like I'm trying to pick the best drive, but you don't know the best drive until it's there, right? So the whole point of the game is you got to pick it before the next person goes.
So okay, so let's say I'm the wolf, you go, the next person goes, and the fourth person goes, and I haven't picked anybody. I either have to pick that person who just went
You're pretty much forced in
or lone
that
wolf
person or
or
lone wolf. Yeah. So it's kind of like it's forcing your hand,
I see.
right? So
I
it
see.
forces you to
So I
pick.
can't go back and like,
No.
oh, I want Brian's.
No.
Like me and Brian are teammates.
No.
Ah,
So when I hit that drive, you pretty much
take
have to
it.
be like, I need that.
okay.
You know, or you're pretty much.
But you still
saying
play
like
your own balls up,
Yep.
right? Or your own
Correct.
ball.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of get it.
Yeah, it's a fun game.
Did you win anything?
No, it's pretty much like you almost like
points?
yeah,
It evens out at
It
the
kind
end,
of like
yeah.
at the end of the day, it evens out.
Yeah.
It's like maybe I owe you $1. You know, it's like
Yeah.
I'll buy you a beer instead. You know.
Yeah, that's always like any of the betting games or like match games. Yeah, by the end of it, it's like, okay, I won 10 holes and you won 8, and all right, give me $2. Right?
Exactly.
It's like,
Yeah.
or whatever you're playing
Yeah,
for, right? Yeah,
100%.
$10.
Yeah.
Give me 10, yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
so-
Any games that you like?
No, I mean, I've been trying to think of like new games, either to play. It sounds funny. Play with myself. Play by myself.
Yeah.
But for instance, like it's not a game, but I really want to try and kind of what Bryson said, like play from the reds and see how low. Like let's go out to Empire Ranch and play from the reds and see how low you could shoot.
Yeah.
Would you shoot better or worse, or would it would it teach you? But I think it just helps you learn to score, meaning like maybe now because you're closer, you're getting more 10-foot putts, right? And then you start dropping them. So then that way, when you finally get that one nice shot that's 10 feet, you're no longer like, oh man, I need this. And you're like, oh no, I've done, 40 birdies of 10 feet now, right? So it kind of that's the at least that's my understanding of the psychology of it. But just that would just be a fun day or fun game where to see how low I could shoot,
Yeah.
right? Or could I even break par from the
Yeah.
Reds? Which I don't know. Honestly, my honest opinion, I don't know if I would. Maybe the par fives would give you some relief.
I feel like par fives for sure, but yeah, that's a good.
You
I
know,
don't know.
because I think sometimes, especially at Empire, you're gonna be like so in between clubs.
Exactly. I think that's where the yardage would come
Yeah,
into play.
yeah. Although, like for instance, it's 5, where I think if you play from them tips, it's like 320.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what the Reds are, but I'm sure at the Reds it's probably like a 250.
Yeah.
And it's like using three wood, easy 3 wood or whatever. Maybe get on the green.
Yeah.
But then you have to be very, your aim has to be perfect because left you're in the shit, right you're in the shit.
Except for that one little outlet.
And I hit too far.
I've landed on that once.
I've even that little outlet, that little loop right there.
I call it the island.
Yeah. Even that little island right there. It's not really an island for everyone who are listening, but it kind of has like a island shape to it.
It gives you an island feel because you got shit on both sides.
Everything around
on three
you,
sides of it, you got shit, and then you got a skinny fairway to the right of it.
So even I've hit my 3 wood before, and I've still flown that. So
I've definitely my 2 hybrid same as a 3 wood.
But
have you ever done a 3-club golf tournament?
No, I know our men's club does one.
It's pretty fun.
I want to, but every time that they put it on, it's December, and I'm usually either out of town or that weekend because it's on the weekends, and we're doing something that weekend.
It'd be fun to do that with our group.
Yeah,
but like more of a easier course, not like let's not do it at the Ridge.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I think
it's more of a.
You know what would be a good one for Mather?
Yeah,
Mather would be a good.
That would be great.
3 because you do 3 clubs plus your putter, right?
So I do 3 clubs. And that's what I've done before.
Yeah, so you putt with a wedge or something,
or your hybrid. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've used it where
whatever you want to
choose. I picked a driver or a hybrid or a 3-wood.
Yeah.
And you use that as a Happy Gilmore putt, and then you have your other 2, like you have a wedge of some sort.
Yeah.
And then a middle iron of some sort. But it's funny because at the end of the day, talking about scoring, like I've usually shot around the same scores as I normally shoot with 3 clubs. It's like, so I'm not really improving or discounting my game with just only 3 clubs, and it makes you think. You're like, man, I should be shooting way better with all these clubs.
Oh yeah, because now you have some. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, wait, I have all these other clubs and I still shoot the same score. Well,
yeah.
Something to think about.
I would. I mean, what'd you say? You hit your hybrid.
So for me, typically I'll go like a 2 hybrid, which is like it's the same as a 3-wood yardage wise for me.
Okay.
And then I'll go like a 6, 7, or an 8 iron, and then I'll go like a 60-degree or a 56. Usually I'll probably pick a 56 because I can do sand and bunkers.
Yeah.
But I can also do exactly. So I'll do something like that.
Or you can close it if you need to go long.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. So those are usually like the 3 I'll pick, and then I usually putt with the hybrid. I like the 2 hybrid because it's versatility, right? So I can putt with it pretty easy. I can also use it and get good yardage on a tee box, but I can also use it in the rough on the fairway and choke up on it and stuff.
This is random, but what's the loft? I mean, loft on the.
I want to say it's. Ooh, that's a good question. I want to say it's 9, but I could.
Oh shit! Well, that's
almost
like a driver.
Yeah, I would. I mean,
I hit it
just
forgiving. Yeah.
It's more of it acts like an iron.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
Quasi like, and I could be wrong on the height, the loft of it. I don't look at the loft much.
Yeah. You just know where it goes. Yeah. Like, you just know the distance. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I look at the ball.
I look at all my woods and stuff, and I mean, I don't even know the lofts on my irons because they don't say.
Yeah, no.
I'd have to look at the specs.
Well, I think it does on the shafts, right? On the side of the club head.
Not irons.
On my, I guess those
maybe old, maybe certain styles. Yeah, because I did have some irons that actually like the seven, it would be like a 7 iron, but then in the corner it would say degree
Yeah,
or loft or
that's
whatever.
what I was trying to think of.
Yeah.
But maybe that's more for wedges, not true irons.
Yeah. I mean, for sure, wedges, like
Yeah,
anything, what, 48 and in,
yeah.
you can
I was
get.
gonna say.
Yeah. But no, I'd like, I would have like an iron, like I don't know, 6 iron. It was like 26 degrees or whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah. But
I
then
don't
you're
think that's right.
Bryson,
Yeah.
and he recreates the whole game.
Yeah, I
You know,
know.
like
Yeah.
who knows what his lofts are?
So I have a hard time. I mean, for sure, the driver, because I mean, you're not picking the driver because it's not versatile enough, right? You can't hit it off the
You
ground.
can't hit it off the deck, or you could, but it's really
Well,
hard to hit
yes,
it
yeah.
off the deck.
So, but then 3 wood, I feel like 3 wood isn't, like you said, you could putt with it. You can even do like the around the green chips with it
Yeah,
if it's not in the rough.
yeah. Texas wedge kind of
Yeah,
style.
but in my scenario, I think you got to give the putter. I
So
mean, I
you would
know,
go
yeah.
putter.
So three clubs and putter,
Okay.
because I feel like, that's just. I mean, I don't know.
Or you could pick the putter as one of your 3 clubs.
You could, but I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
I know people that do that.
you. I mean, maybe it saves you once you get to the green, right?
The only time
But then you
it's
said, I mean, if your two hybrid is really a 9 degree, then it doesn't. You can just, like you said, like hockey stick it,
that's pretty much what it
and
is.
yeah, or just like bring it really close to you, and
Yeah, exactly.
okay, so three, because I did start thinking about it because I wanted to play in that tournament. So I'm like, okay, what do I pick? And I think they did that. I think
To allow the putter,
they did.
or just 3 clubs straight.
I think it was 2 clubs and a putter.
Okay, that's even
So
more challenging.
yeah,
But that forces everyone's hand to at least take a putter. Whereas, like, if you don't do that, then it's pretty much like it's kind of a disadvantage for some golfers,
Yeah.
right? Because if I'm really good with my 2 hybrid doing it, I'm getting a better advantage by not having to take my putter.
yeah,
right?
yeah. I'm trying to remember what the actual it was, but anyway, let's say it's 3 clubs and a putter. Yeah, I think it'd be along the same lines. Probably the wood. I'm not sure what I would do because I do have like a 5 highway fairway wood that I can almost sometimes hit as far as a 3 wood. But I just feel like there's too much loft on it, so I couldn't putt with it. But if we have the putter, that's fine.
Yeah.
But no, I'd probably go 3 wood, 7 iron, 56, like you said, or I have 54 because, like you said, you can pretty much hit every
It's like
shot
right
with it.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then putter. Yeah, that's one. Maybe we'll do that for the end of the season
That'd be fun.
in
Or during the
October.
winter.
In October, yeah,
During a winter month or something.
because then it's like, it's wet out there anyway. Who
Yeah,
cares?
exactly. Or they're under maintenance or something. Yeah.
And now the question is, do they make you have you? So you played in one, right?
I played in
So
multiple.
do they make you leave your clubs in the car?
What do you mean?
Are they that serious? Like,
Oh, yeah.
so
So you can only have
you can
3
only have
clubs?
3 clubs in your bag.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So they're like, nope, you got to leave.
So I bring the whole bag,
You
and
can't cheat.
you only have 3
You can't even
clubs.
cheat.
Nope. No.
So, because that's what I was gonna say. If I mean, I think we could. I mean, they do it at Empire, obviously. That might be fun. But I'm like, I feel weird asking guys leaving clubs in their car. But you're at a golf course, I guess.
It's more of a I mean, you just have a guy.
Honor system at that point.
Well, you got a guy at the tee boxes. Like, you're usually at the tee boxes when everyone's teeing
Yeah.
off. You just make sure, like, hey, just checking bags. It's like
Yeah, but then I'm the enforcer.
Yeah, but it's like we're all agreeing to this. Might as well
Yeah.
be serious about it.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Could you imagine playing Apple Mountain with that?
No, I cannot. Although I might score the same.
What? Yeah, I know. I would probably even go down to like a 4 iron
Yeah.
or 5 iron
Because that's really
as
all you
my
need
top.
there.
Yeah, as my top club. Yeah.
There's like what, 2-3 holes that you would be in trouble on.
Because even the the par fives, just hit 4 iron, and you're probably somewhere close
Yeah.
for your third shot.
Most of them have a lot of elevation. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a couple holes that, like I said,
But some of their par threes are really short. You know,
2.
yeah. Oh yeah, 2. I think it's 7 or something like one of those, 6 or 7. Yeah, but that'd be interesting. That'd be a. You think everyone would be worn out after that day? Everyone would come back like, what the?
I don't want to golf
Like,
anymore.
I am never playing with you again, JR.
Yeah,
Like,
we're done.
yeah, yeah. So, um, what, and I asked this kind of, I've asked everybody this so far, and everybody meaning you're the third person.
Oh boy.
um, what is a crazy shot? Because I think with golf, there's always, I mean, shots can go anywhere. It can bounce off trees and roll out of the sand, or like, I don't know. There's so many crazy things that can happen in golf with
Yeah.
golf shots.
Yeah.
What's one, if you can have one, if you know or remember one, what's a crazy golf shot that you've seen?
Oh man, there's so many, but I
I
mean,
know you got to really dig through your memory.
yeah.
You
So I
know,
mean, there's been everything where you've hit it off trees, it comes in the fairway. You hit it off rocks, it goes not in a fairway.
yeah,
Um, I think one of the craziest, and I don't even know who hit this, but I have a memory of it, where it was a par three, and the shot ended up so the cup.
yeah,
So you have the cup, you got a pin in the cup,
yeah.
because we're on the tee box, and the ball literally chunked inside of the cup itself, and like did a half dome slash like crater
Yeah.
slash like
So
half moon.
half the ball's in, half ball's in the ground.
That's correct. Like, how do you score that?
Yeah.
Like, whatever. We didn't even know what to do. We just gave him a 2.
Yeah.
You know, like we're like,
Dang.
I don't even
I
know
mean,
what the rule is on that. And then the cup's messed up, so no one else can play that hole
Yeah.
anymore. Like throughout the whole day.
It is a tough. That's true. It's like, how do you?
You just ruined
Do
the
you
cup.
you just like put your hand next to it and fill it with the
Yeah,
sand?
no,
Like,
you can't do nothing.
you probably have to call the
100%.
groundskeeper to change the
Yeah.
hole.
Yeah, that was one of the craziest shots I've ever seen.
Well, and then what's even funnier is
And they're in my group,
Yeah.
which is even more
Oh
crazy.
yeah. Well, the funny thing too is you guys didn't even give him I'm assuming.
Yeah. We didn't give
They didn't give him the one.
No.
But I get that too because it's like,
You can't give the one.
yes, a hole in one is
Yeah.
a sacred. I mean, I've never gotten a hole in one. Have you?
Nope.
You've
No
yeah.
hole in
I
ones
was
for
like, I
me.
think you said you've never hit a hole in one.
I'm hoping one day before I die, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's pretty funny that you guys didn't even give.
So
him.
that's one of them. One of the most embarrassing shots I've ever had. I mean, I've had a lot of those.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of times where I'm hitting trees, hitting rocks, hitting everything you can think of. One of the most embarrassing ones for me though is up at Squaw Valley. I don't know what they call the name of the course now, but it's at the base camp of Squaw Palisades, and whatever that golf course is called now. And it was like one of the par fives, and so I pull out the driver and just hoping to pipe one and hit it good. You know, I'm in elevation. Oh, I can smoke this.
Oh yeah.
It had a
Getting
little
loose out there.
Yeah, it had a little shape for my draw. You know, it was perfect. You know, I was like, oh, I'm gonna hit the crap out of this thing, and I get up and I grip and I rip, and I hit it probably 5 feet in front of me, just straight into the ground. I took the fattest divot you can think of from the ball, and it went straight into the ground, probably like 3 inches, and it backspun out of its own divot up in the air, like another, probably went up to my waist in the air.
Yeah.
Lands on the ground and backspun
And
behind
just zips
me.
back.
Correct. And it was probably a negative
Oh my
6-yard
gosh.
shot or something. That was the most embarrassing shot I've ever had in my life.
That is, well, it's crazy that it came out.
Yeah, it literally popped itself out, landed, and then backspun even more.
Because, I mean, I've seen like exactly what you've explained, where a guy just drives in the ground and just in the ground.
Yeah, and it just plugs.
But the fact that you must have hit it like some kind of crazy spin, like just barely hit it. I mean, you got it obviously because you drove into the ground, but you got it like at the perfect spot where it just spun it.
Oh yeah.
It was like,
And then imagine doing that. So like,
and then it spun back, which means it had backspin.
Yeah, I was literally behind the tee box, having to take number 2.
Yeah.
And I couldn't hit driver anymore.
Dang.
So-
They didn't let you re-tee?
No, they did
Just
not let
kidding,
me
I'm just
re-tee. So that's when I pull out
Yeah.
the hybrid and pray.
Well, that's better than hitting 3 off tee, the tee box.
Yeah, it's hitting 2 off the tee.
Yeah. How many times you heard that?
Dude,
Hitting 2 off the
that's what I'm
tee.
saying. Oh, now the whole world knows about it.
Yeah. Well, that's a good one.
Oh,
Because
the friend
that
group
just sounds like,
reminds me of that all the time, by the
yeah,
way.
that sounds like that's just against physics.
Yeah, you don't.
Because you think if you're driving it into the ground at that like rate and at that angle,
Yeah,
that it's got topspin, right?
yeah,
And maybe in the Earth it reversed it.
yeah. I
The
have no
perfect
clue.
rotation of the Earth at the
Yeah,
time. No, I'm just kidding.
no
Um,
idea how it happened, but it happened.
like, or maybe there's just so much force in the ball had so much force into the ground that again, physics, it just put all the motion back into the ball.
Reverted,
Yeah.
or it just wanted me to have a negative yard
Yeah.
shot.
Or the Earth spit it back out like, nope, try again.
Maybe it was a ball. Maybe it was a
Hey.
Kirkland ball.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I don't. Um, dang that. Yeah, I'm surprised they let you keep pants on for that one.
No, I had to pull those down. Had to pull those
Yeah,
down.
yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
funny.
I mean, I didn't even make it past our tee box.
Yeah, well, I know. What do you have to do for that one? Jeez. Lose all your
That was
clothes.
an immediate take a shot
Yeah,
and drop trowel.
yeah. Dang, that is a crazy shot. Yeah, I mean, I briefly told you just about the hole in one that I saw. It's the
Yeah.
only hole in one I've seen. So, I mean, if you've watched or if you follow along, like, I've explained that one, so I'll just kind of pass over that. But that was a pretty crazy one.
I hope one day we each have one.
Yeah, I mean the hole in one. I mean the elusive hole in one. It's like, I mean, I feel like I've been closer with my third shot, meaning like it goes out of bounds or whatever,
Hmm.
and then and then I'm hitting three,
And you're
and
pissed
it's
off.
like,
You're not
and
even
it's
trying.
yeah, and it's like the closest I've
You
ever
landed to
been,
like an inch.
and it's like tap in bogey,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, which kind of we're getting to the end here, but you just brought up something that just triggered a thought. Is I think that when you're three off the tee and you're out of bounds or whatever,
Hmm.
I mean, I think I heard someone say this. Like, I think you should. I mean, would it hurt the game if you just hit two off the tee?
Versus,
You know what I mean?
so
Then
instead of taking a
so
stroke.
yeah, so like you literally you don't gain any ground. Like, take away the drop stroke
Hmm.
penalty and just if you go in the water, you go out of bounds, whatever, you just re-hit from the same spot.
Hmm.
But you're not gaining any ground.
Yeah, I think it's just a way to keep the. I mean, what if I do that 10 times
Then
in
you
a
shoot
row?
a 10.
Yeah, no, I'm saying if I take it off the tee
I was like,
box.
then you're shooting 10 off
I
the
think
tee box.
I think it's pace of play. I know, but it's more of like a pace of play. I think it's. I don't know.
No, because you it's not pace of play because you hit out of bounds, you're
Yeah,
hitting from the same spot for 3.
yeah,
Hit out of bounds, same spot for 5.
yeah,
It's out of bounds, you're hitting 7.
yeah.
So
But they
there's
they added a thing on where you can go up to where that ball was
oh,
and drop.
yeah.
For
For like
two.
tournament, like for our home tournaments and
Correct.
stuff,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's where
For
I
pace
think
of play, and you can even drop it in the fairway.
that's a two
And
stroke penalty.
yeah,
But
so you're hitting 4,
Yep.
which is where you'd be hitting anyway if you reteed it.
So I think that's where the
So
game's going. Is more often or not, people aren't gonna take a drop on the tee box. I guess is what
yeah,
I'm trying to say. They're gonna take the
drop up there.
yardage
Yep.
and
Oh,
take
for sure.
take the additional stroke,
But
or hope it went out in a red stake and then it's only a one stroke drop or something.
yeah,
But yeah.
yeah, that was because I think, I mean, if you're hitting out of bounds twice, you're already hitting 3 off the tee. I mean, you're already at a disadvantage.
Yeah, I
Right,
think for
so,
people
but-
that don't play
That's
as
true.
much,
I mean, that's true. I mean, for
think that-
you and I
yeah.
think you can take one stroke, or not
Yeah.
one stroke, but just keep hitting because the next one's going to be good, most
yeah,
likely.
usually.
But we hope.
Well, usually player B,
Player
B
B
is
is
always amazing. My player B is like a scratch golfer. It could be in
Yeah.
a PGA. My Brian Fridiani golfer is he's barely hanging on here to keep 90s.
Yeah.
Or 80s.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess last thing real quick is, for you, what is a like dream course that you haven't played? Like for me, it's still Pebble Beach. Like we live here in California, and it's in our backyard. Essentially. I mean, we live 3 hours away from it,
Yep.
and still haven't played it. I mean, now it's like $600, $700, whatever it is,
Yep.
just to play the course. No caddy, nothing. Anyway, um, that's still one of mine.
Yeah.
I mean, one day I'll get it. I know for sure, but
I think that's 100%. I still have not. I kick myself. I did not play that during the COVID couple of years that we had. That's definitely high up on the list. I've been blessed enough to play some really good courses, Spanish Bay, Olympic Club. I think,
yeah. So you got your Olympic Club
yeah,
shirt on right there.
yeah. Shout out to the
There you
Olympic
go.
Club. It's great to know a few people that are
Yeah.
members.
Yeah.
They bring you
That
out.
helps.
They bring you out there. Burger
Yeah.
Dog invention. They created the Burger Dog out there.
Oh, is that where it is?
Yeah, and
Okay.
so they started that. Now Empire Ranch has a pretty good
Yeah,
Burger
Empire
Dog.
Ranch, Apple Mountain. Oh, well, that makes sense. They're owned by the same person.
Exactly. They
Empire,
brought it
Apple
out.
Mountain, yeah.
I get it every time I go.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Especially Apple Mountain.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
game
Oh, yeah.
time, yeah.
I would say Augusta. Augusta would be.
Ooh.
I mean, that's
I mean, it's
nice.
iconic, yeah. I mean,
That is
that's another one.
amazing.
I think,
But there's so
Can
many.
you-
There's so many that I could say.
can you play Augusta? Not you personally,
no.
but can.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is like
Yeah,
if
it's
I ever
like-
got the
that's what I
opportunity
was
to
thinking.
play, if I ever got the
Yeah.
opportunity to play that, I would be there in a heartbeat. If you
You-
tell me,
You either have died and gone to heaven, or
Yeah.
you somehow met a member.
but if you say, hey, you drop everything right now, you got a free round to play, where would you pick? And I would say Augusta, because normally we would not have the ability to play something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that was, that's a good one.
But even there's a few out here on like down in LA. They have a tournament there every year, the beginning of the year.
In La Jolla?
I'm drawing a blank on the name of the
Is
course,
it-
but
Yeah, it's like Poppy.
Torrey Pines.
Torrey Pines, yeah, there you go.
Like Torrey Pines, I would love to play that course. Don't have the ability to play that course.
Is that private?
I thought it was. I thought
I thought it was public.
Maybe
Maybe
it is.
again, I don't know.
either way, I'm probably not having the ability to play that course.
Yeah. I was like, yeah. I mean, don't quote me on anything because I'm the guy who didn't know. You know, I was like,
mean,
where's Pinehurst? You know,
Yeah,
They're
I
like,
mean, Pebble is freaking
Midwest
not
somewhere, or-
private, and you don't see me playing that.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, public or private doesn't really make a difference for us.
Once the dollar,
Not yet.
Once
Not
the dollar
yet,
point
yeah.
gets to a certain level,
Yeah,
you're like,
exactly.
do I really need to spend on that? Or the wife's
Then it's-
nagging at you, like, how much did you
yeah.
spend on golf this weekend?
Oh yeah, it's always $100.
yeah.
How much is Pebble? $100.
Yeah, totally 100.
Yeah.
They check the bank account. What?
Yeah, they see that. That include caddy, cart, balls, and it's like no, just golf.
Yeah.
So, all right, Brian. Well, appreciate anything else.
No, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no.
It's been a pleasure. And
Yeah,
would love to be back again.
yeah, of course.
Can always talk golf.
Yeah, once we get it's almost the end of the season. I mean, not for us, but like I say October is usually the end of a real golf season.
Yeah.
Maybe September. But yeah, we're coming to the end of the golf season. Getting ready for that winter golf, lift, clean, and place soon, sooner than later.
Or the 3 club tournament. Maybe we'll have to do that.
Yeah, so maybe we can report back on how that
That
went.
would be
So,
pretty fun.
yeah, we'd love to have you back on, and appreciate you coming on for these last 2 weeks. And thank you for everything.
Yeah. Right on.
All right.
Thank you.
And everyone at home or listening or wherever you're probably driving, because that's when I listen to podcasts.
Totally.
But like and subscribe, and like and subscribe and comment, and just thank you for listening. All right, bye.